Welcome to the weekly review for Week 10 for the Freedom Fantasy League. There goes Week 10, and here we go again, hoping that our teams will bring joy. Half the league felt the sting, the other, victories ring, and for some, injuries that destroy. All right, on to the match scores for Week 10. All right, Blitz Donkey Konged Super Mario Brothers 188.35 to 163.7 in a match that pitted father versus son. Blitz has bounced back well and hasn't lost a match since the slumber blunder and now is on a heater with a 3-game win streak. But that is easy to do, everybody, when you have Joe Burrow scoring a mind-blowing 81.5 points. Yeah. It was a rare misstep for Super Mario Brothers, who's having to navigate the frigid waters of players' injuries, but looks like he's doing well. I mean, it looks like that Kareem Hunt pickup he just found in the pool that one day might be a league winner. The Doc E.R. Blue Hair White Dragon 179.85 to 160.80. This was a case of better to be lucky than good, since all but 3 of Doc's players underperformed, but out of the 3 that did well, 2 of them more than doubled their projection, most likely handing disbelief to the Doc when it turned out that he had won. This match was a crack in BHWD's armor. Was it? Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it's a crack that's starting to spread. She just had a bad week, everybody. But here's some fun trivia for everybody. What does Jalen Hurts, Marvin Harrison Jr., and the New Orleans defense all have in common? They were the only ones who came through for Blue Hair White Dragon in Week 10, and even then, it was just barely. So big hitters like Jahmyr Gibbs and Joe Mixon didn't perform, leading to BHWD's second loss in a row. Snake Eyes strangled the gut, 152.15 to 104.45, narrowly missing the blowout of the week. Yeah, this isn't the normal output for Snake Eyes, who has been ruling the league with a mighty fist, but I ask, could it be the normal output now? All right, there are problems on the horizon for the league leader, as CeeDee Lamb will have a poo-poo platter of Cooper Rush and Trey Lance throwing to him, and news out of Baltimore is that with Keaton Mitchell now healthy, the head coach John Harbaugh wants a 3-headed monster approach to their running back attack, meaning less carries for the Yeti, Derrick Henry. So keep an eye on that. Even though it didn't work, I do applaud the Guts approach this week. He took 3 shots on boom or bust players knowing he was facing Snake Eyes, and unfortunately, the plan was more of a Russian rocket than an American rocket. His roster seems to have blown up on the launch pad there, but only being able to barely go over the 100-point mark. So that's the case with boomer bust players, right? But man, you got to applaud the effort. But since the league voted to expand the playoffs, the Gut is still in the fight, only being 2 wins away from competing for that 8th spot. Snake Eyes hasn't lost in 2 months, but will it be week 11 when he takes on hotter than homemade Pico de Gallo Blitz? I know I'll be watching. We'll see. Let's see what happens. All right. Which this leads us to the match of the week. In a match that set Potter Familia against Fius. Number 4, Form Blazing Sword took on number 9, TGMP. Form Blazing Sword was looking to even the score after TGMP handed him a loss back in week 2. Form Blazing Sword forgives, but he definitely doesn't forget. As the match started, the moves that TGMP made during the season started to come through for him. Chuba Hubbard, who he traded for, and Rashid White, who he found just sitting in the pool, combined for a match-altering 56.4 points, doubling what their projected points were to be. However, Form Blazing Sword showed some old man strength, as he had Travis Kelce and waiver wire star Tyrone Tracy Jr. come back with over 46 points of their own. But it wasn't all beer and Skittles. At this point, TGMP had 5 players turn in underwhelming performances, and Form Blazing Sword had 3. And when the afternoon games ended, the two combatants limped back to their corners with a score of 134.7.1 to 132.5. Yeah, 134.7 to 132.5, leaning towards TGMP. Yeah, the afternoon battles were over, but the match certainly wasn't, with both teams having 2 players each, having 2 players left. Yeah. Hang on, did I say that right? Yeah, with both teams having 2 players left. So they both have 2 players. All right. Form Blazing Sword with Kyron Williams and late addition Demarcus Robinson, who was squeezed in at the last minute thanks to the Texans being cheeky with Collins. But Nico Collins was going to bat for Form Blazing Sword, and TGMP had Tyreek Hill and Jason Sanders left with the orders to finish him. Yeah. So that's a running back and a wide receiver for Form Blazing Sword, and a wide receiver and a kicker for TGMP with a little over 2 points separation. Yeah, this week's results were looking like it was going to be just like TGMP's team name, a great and mighty poo for him. Yeah, he was predicted to have a 53% chance to win, but we all know it's a fool who tries to find logic in the chambers of the Yahoo Fantasy Football mathematical mystery, right? So as the pain of the Monday musical monstrosity ended and our hearts were yearning to hear, "Are you ready for some football?" it became apparent that Miami has a problem. Their offense looked immediately broken, and even though he was toughened through an injury that was exacerbated due to his unfortunate legal encounter earlier this year, Tyreek Hill couldn't get things going against a good matchup and turned in only 12.7 points. Kyron Williams made a little headway, putting 15.2 points for Form Blazing Sword, which was enough for him to have a lead. And with a wide receiver pitted against the kicker for the match, well, the result should be obvious, right? Now, if I told you that one player scored 3.9 and the other player scored 21.85 points, you'd straight up assume that Form Blazing Sword walked away with a nice win, right? However, that assumption made an ass out of you and me, since as the night wore on, Form Blazing Sword saw 2 things very clearly. 1, there was a reason Demarcus Robinson was in the pool. And number 2, there's also a reason he was the lead in the segment entitled My Bad in the fantasy football show that helped give him the advice to pivot to Demarcus Robinson. Yeah, right. You know, you got to put 2 and 2 together. It was Jason Sanders. Jason Sanders was the one who put up 21.85 points to Demarcus Robinson's 3.8, giving TGMP the win as he pooed all over Form Blazing Sword, 169.25 to 151.5. The Fuse bested the Paterfamilias twice, allowing probably for the first time ever, for the word poo and clean sweep to be used in the same sentence. Next up, Form Blazing Sword will look to right the ship as he takes on Saquon Barkley and the Super Mariota brothers. And TGMP will look to feast on the next family member in the lineage as he takes on Oh My Gato. Yeah, so, alright. Whew, how about that? How about that? Yeah, right? Nice match of the week. Okay, let's move on to the blowout of the week. Oh, man. Oh. See, this is one where I really miss the co-commissioner. Hopefully you guys are okay with me doing it. Co-commissioner is a really busy man, as you guys know, so he's he's very busy this week. Yeah, it's too jam-packed. But if he was here, he'd be reading this, and I don't have to read this. But nah, as it happens, it's me reading this. So let me be a man. All right, here we go. Once again, the fickle finger of fate poked its way into our league, as Oh My Gato is once again in this segment as Mom Spaghetti got the blowout of the week, saucing him 235.6 to 173.45. Man, this is how fantasy football works, everyone. 3 weeks ago, Me, oh my gato, I was humiliated and thrown on top of the ever-mounting pile of blue hair white dragons victims. But then last week, I blew out the dock. Yeah, well, thanks mainly to some historically bad luck for the dock, but hey, I still got the blow out of the week on the right side. This week, back on the bottom. Losing by 62.15 points, even though my 173.45 points would have beaten over half the league. So I guess there's no shame in my game, right? But dang. Yeah, man. No shame in my game, but I'll tell you what there's shame in. The shame was that the match was effectively over after Thursday Night Football, as Mom Spaghetti had both Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase combining for 153.2 points alone, with Chase scoring a season record 85.9 points alone by himself. Yeah, just to put that into perspective, everybody, if you had just a team, if you had one team that just had those two players, okay, just those two players, sat the rest of the players, so all seven just had those two guys, that team would have beaten 3 other teams in this league this past week. Just those 2 players. That's what I was looking at, man. All right. That's how my week started. All right. After I went through all the stages of grief, I realized that, man, there's freedom in the week, being over so quickly. I didn't have to stress about start-sit decisions. The anxiety of Sunday was over, so I could sit back and enjoy the games. Man, who am I kidding? That just sucked. It freaking sucked, man. Seriously, after one game, it's over. But I'm a man of a lot of hope. Seeing 150 points with 7 players to go was not a matter of if, but when. And the only hope I had was hoping that Mon Spaghetti was going to be gentle. That's all my hope was, right? Well, turns out she wasn't. And the beating was so bad that it bordered on spousal abuse. Alright, so it didn't matter that my defense got 35.5 points, or that Bijan Robinson finished as the number 1 fantasy running back for the week. All that was just mere chicken feed to Mom Spaghetti, as she had Terry McLaurin and Amon-Ra St. Brown there to finish the job. So, to sing a tune that is becoming more and more familiar as the season goes on, I got fucked, Cookie. It happens to the best of us. Mom Spaghetti will look to continue her climb from the early season basement as she takes on the mighty blue hair white dragon. And oh my god, I was just hoping for the Lord to have mercy on me as I take on TGMP. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the rankings. Not the rankings, the rankings after week 10. All right, here we go. Number 1, after being lucky and not good, Snake Eyes is on an 8-game win streak, sitting at top of the league at 9-1. Still sitting at second, Blue Hair White Dragon with an impressive 6-4 record. And again, rounding out the top 3 of the league, the Doc is still sitting there at 3 with a record of 6-4 and is less than 70 points away from second. So he's climbing up. Watch it. Watch out, BHWD. Watch out. In fourth, the Phoenix is still rising as Mon Spaghetti is in fourth and primed to go even higher, sitting at 500 with a 5-5 record. Another rapid climber, also sitting at 500 with a 5-5 record, Blitz, moves from 7th all the way up to 5th with his dismantling of his son Super Mariota Brothers. 6 is where Blazing Sword, yes, dropped after his tough week, but he still is 500 with a 5-5 record. Due to the incredibly bad luck of going against both Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase, Oh My Gato has dropped from 6th to 7th place with a 4-6 record. And staying in 8th, staying in 8th with a 4-6 record. Super Mariota Brothers. Thanks to you guys, that's playoffs too. Also, staying put in 9th place, TGMP sits with a record of 4-6. So again, that's 3 teams, everybody, that are 4-6, all 3 tied for the last 2 playoff spots. I mean, it's exciting, but this excitement that it's all because of you guys. It's because y'all voted to open the playoffs to 8 teams. So this victory lap really is all yours. I mean, this is you guys. So that's what y'all did. Y'all look how much excitement you guys did that. Y'all started with that vote. And sitting at 10, also with the record of 2-8, but still in the fight. Still in the fight. The music to our rears. 10th place, the Gut. All right. Okay, so before we end the review, it's time to call out some teams for some embarrassing situations with this segment that we love to call Oops, I Shit My Pants. All right, so be honest with you, everybody. I mean, we all need to take kind of a victory lap. Almost all of us. Yeah, the past week, there really are only 2 plops in the league. That's it. Only 2. Either bye weeks or we're all making, better decisions. Maybe the bye weeks making those decisions easier. You guys and gals are starting to track trends better, making better decisions. Either way, pretty good job, everybody. Seriously. Not bad at all. Only 2 plops. But let's talk about them. All right, so we'll start off with Super Mariota Brothers was weighted down with the load that was made when he started Daniel Jones over Kyler Murray, leaving Murray's 49.4 points on the bench. Go ahead. Try to jump after doing this. A mythical mound was made when Blue Hair White Dragon started DJ Moore over George Pickens, since Pickens scored almost 4 times as many points as Moore. Look out below! And maybe there's one more. Yeah, there's an unhonorable mention for both Snake Eyes and Form Blazing Sword, but not a shit my pants worthy, since in Snake Eyes' case, he still won by a lot. Okay, so it wasn't really going to change anything other than his points, and he's already, 9-1, so, not that much, right? Just maybe 1 turd, right? And Form Blazing Sword got screwed by the Texans being overly cautious with Nico Collins at the last second, so, not really a dump, but 1 turd, so a turd each, right? So no individual poop, like pile of poop, but everyone knows that 2 turds do a pile make, so this is a shared shart. All right. Okay. All right, so this is where I normally talk about bye weeks, but again, apologies everyone for getting this out so late. So I don't think I need to really mention the bye weeks for week 11 since, well, the games start tomorrow, so I'm sure you guys and gals know by now, so I'll just go ahead and wrap it up, all right? So that wraps up the Week 10 review, but before I close, I do want to thank everyone again for voting regarding the playoff bracket change last week, okay? I know that it wasn't unanimous, but the rule change has already invigorated the league, all right? So it fills me with great joy, everybody, that y'all are so passionate about this league and as passionate as I am, and I'm so excited that I'm in a league with so many players that care and are so engaged. So thank you, and don't ever forget, everybody, how awesome each and every one of you guys are. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, so with that, congratulations to the winners, consolations to the losers, and see you guys and gals next week. And of course, in honor of my bro, see if I can do it right this time, stay strong, be of good courage, and long live the Republic!